Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jennifer and I am HIV positive. I am also undetectable, and in today's video I am going to tell you what it actually means to be undetectable, because I don't think you know. I really don't. So hang tight and I will tell you. Before we get into this video, just a little bit of business to take care of. I just wanted to let you all know that I was in a podcast recently. It's a brand new podcast. It's called The Patient Will See You Now. Check it out on Spotify or iTunes. It's available on both. I was on the very first episode, so it's episode 001, and so check that out if you want to. He's had 2 other podcasts since then, and his name's Robert, so check that out if you get a chance. Also, look for me on Instagram. If you want to follow me there, I'm at VonGirl24, VONGIRL 24. This video is not about you equals you, although I do want to say undetectable equals untransmittable. If you are a person living with HIV and you are undetectable, you can no longer transmit the virus to your sexual partner. It's not that this is like a new concept, it's just that it's being broadcast finally. So this information has always been there. There wasn't a social media 10 years ago, so now it's being talked about. This is scientific fact. It's totally based on scientific findings, and there's no disputing it. So if you need any more information on you equals you, that's www.preventionaccess.org. Go there for all your you equals you questions, needs, desires, or their channel. They have a you equals you channel as well. Also, if you'd like to support my advocacy, there is a link in the description. I'm not supported by an organization. I do everything that I do through social media on my own, so any help is much appreciated. Okay, on with the show. Okay, so the reason I wanted to make this video was because we hear undetectable all the time, and of course it does make sense. Undetectable means something that you can't find. But as everybody knows, when you have HIV and you're undetectable, you're not cured. So there is still something there, right? But where is it? And how much of it is there is what I don't think even I comprehend or think about when I even think about somebody with HIV. So I wanted to think about it in a different way and give that perspective or some visualizations to people to help them really understand what's happening in my body as an undetectable person with HIV. Because what I think is that people hear HIV and no matter what, they see HIV. And that is what I am to them. I am HIV. Doesn't matter that I take a pill a day. Doesn't matter that my tests say it's undetectable. Doesn't matter that it says they can't find it. Doesn't matter that I have a husband that's negative who has never gotten it from me. They just see HIV, and that is what represents me. I know this because I do the same thing. I know that I see people with HIV and I see them as a person with HIV. I have a hard time thinking about them as somebody who is that person without it. But in actuality, we are so close to being HIV negative, it's not even funny. And I don't think that that is what people comprehend. And I want that to be more clear for people so that when they see somebody with HIV and they understand what undetectable means, they can kind of have a better visualization or concept in their head of what is actually going on in my body. Because I still get questions today like, are you afraid you're gonna die if you catch a cold? How do you feel after exercise? Is your body really weak? Are you in pain? A visual for me would be, what I look like when I was sick, big HIV. What I look like now is a little teeny, super tiny. That's what it is. So when I think of my body now, I don't see it in me. I feel that I am HIV negative. The virus is no longer in my blood plasma. It is gone. So there's no infectious viral particles floating free in my blood plasma. None, okay? But the reason you can't say that I'm cured of HIV is because it's still hidden in dormant cells. And I don't want to get into all the technical parts of it, but there are parts of the cells that are called reservoirs, and basically there's some HIV particles that are still in there. They're dormant. The medication is keeping this drug pressure on them so they don't come out, they don't affect me. And unfortunately, in those reservoirs, the medication can't get in there. And that's the reason why we aren't cured. Otherwise, we'd be cured of HIV, because literally it's doing everything it can, the medication, to wipe this virus out, except for those few little pesky parts that hide, and medication can't get to those.
What is a latent HIV reservoir? A latent HIV reservoir is a group of immune cells in the body that are infected with HIV but are not actively producing new HIV. Finding ways to target and destroy latent reservoirs is a major challenge facing HIV researchers. Researchers are exploring different strategies for clearing out reservoirs.
They're there, and if I were to stop taking my medication, they would wake up and they would come back and they would replicate and they could take over my whole body again. But as of right now, I'm completely controlled. I take my medication every day and they aren't around. They're basically non-existent. So to me, hypothetically, I'm HIV negative, if that makes sense. And if you were to look on a test result for me, my test results actually say that they can't find it. My test results look just like somebody who doesn't have HIV, believe it or not. But here's the caveat to that. If I were to take an antibody test, that will always come up HIV positive, because I will always have the antibody for HIV. The antibody is not contagious. That's not what's transmitted. It's just what my body made to protect me from HIV. It's what my body did its best to do to fight against this stupid frickin' virus. And it's always there. It's just like if you had the chicken pox, you still have an antibody from those chicken pox, right? From when you were 5. So I will always have an antibody that will show that I am positive. So for that test, that's always going to show positive. But when I take an RNA HIV test, it really does show that I'm HIV negative. It does not show up on there. And so if you were to look at somebody's test result who's HIV negative versus mine, the results are the same. And that's what I don't think people realize, is that there is so little virus in my body that I am not a walking HIV body. My body is not like up and down, head to toe. It's so insignificant. This number is so infinitesimal. It's so small that it's hardly existent, and it's controlled. And then I realized, this is the crazy part, is that little amount that's left in me, that little teeny tiny, whatever, insignificant, infinitesimal amount, is what stigma's about. That is what stigma's about. Can you believe that? That's why people won't date people with HIV. That's why people are afraid to use the same forks and spoons and knives bathroom as somebody with HIV. That's why people they're cut from their jobs because of HIV. This is insanity to me. So my doctor knows an HIV specialist from San Francisco, UCSF. And when I went to AIDS 2018 in Amsterdam, he was going to be there as well. So I kind of introduced myself through email, and we had back and forth exchanges. I was going to interview him in Amsterdam, but the timing was crazy. It was so busy there, and we never did meet up. Unfortunately, it just didn't work out. So that was almost a year and a half ago. So I just reached out to him and I said, hey, remember that crazy girl in Santa Cruz who has HIV, Dr. Leonard's patient? I have a question for you about being undetectable, and I'd really like to show my audience what it truly means to be undetectable. Can you confirm that what I am saying is true? And he did confirm that what I thought was true. So this is what he wrote back to me. And his name is Dr. Steven Deeks, and I want to give you some information on him. So I'll provide a link in the description about Steven if you want to read more about him, but he is a professor of medicine in residence at the University of California, San Francisco, UCSF, and he's a faculty member in the Division of HIV, Infectious Diseases, and Global Medicine at Zuckerberg San Francisco General Hospital. Okay, Dr. Deeks has been engaged in HIV research and clinical care since 1993. He is a recognized expert on HIV-associated immune dysfunction and its impact on HIV persistence, the reservoir, and health during antiretroviral therapy. Dr. Deeks has published over 350 peer-reviewed articles editorials and invited reviews on these and related topics. So there's a lot more information. I mean, he's the guy to talk to for sure about what is happening when you're undetectable. And so he was so nice. He said I could say his name. He said, and I'm going to send him this video. I hope I do this justice and I'm not completely blowing it with what I want to say. So his answer to me, I want to read back what he said. He says, the typical plasma viral load of an untreated person with HIV, so that's like me before I was diagnosed, is about 100,000 copies of RNA per milliliter of blood. Mine was 507,000. So that's the typical is 100,000. It drops to about 1 copy, 1 versus 100,000, 1, just 1 copy of per milliliter of blood during therapy. So 1 is, it's virtually nothing, okay? One could easily argue that greater than, so basically he's saying almost nothing, 99.99% of the amount free virus circulating in plasma goes away with treatment. So he's basically saying it's basically almost all gone. What is important to know is that the medications that we take today stop the virus from replicating and doing its thing in 3 different areas of where it does it. If it didn't do it in the first phase, it gets it in the second phase. If it didn't get it in the second phase, it gets it in the third phase. And that's why it's gone. So technically, hypothetically, I feel pretty HIV negative, if that makes sense. Except for this part that's dormant that I don't feel or anything. And it's not affecting me. I know it's not easy to comprehend it. I know people just think HIV, even if they hear undetectable, and they think that, you know, you still, it's still everywhere. It's gotta be. You probably touch things and it comes off. That is not how it's transmitted. It's like the perfect storm, and you have to have a high viral load to transmit this. No one's transmitting this undetectable when they're undetectable. So again, I don't want to get into transmission and all that. I just want people to try to see that somebody who has HIV who's on treatment is basically the same person as they were before, except for this little teeny tiny HIV. Little teeny tiny. So I know it's a hard concept, but I thought it's worth it just to put this out there. And I hope that it helps people understand even more how this little insignificant, infinitesimal, I keep using that word because it means a lot to me because it's that small, that amount of the virus that's left in me is what is still causing stigma. I also did this post on Facebook, and this is what I looked like before I had treatment, and then this is what I look like after. Basically, it's the same body makeup as I had before. The only thing different is that there's these little particles that are stuck in some cells that can't get out because I take a pill every day and it keeps the drug pressure on them. And they're, it's like they're, Eric said, you know, it's almost like they're in jail. They can't get out. They're stuck in there. I hope this video was helpful. I hope it gives a little bit of a clearer understanding on what undetectable means. Okay, guys, that's all I have to say for now. Oh my gosh, I don't think I said thank you. Thank you so much to Dr. Steven Deeks for writing back to me and confirming what I was pretty sure of, but I just wanted to make sure from an HIV expert that I was on the right track. Thank you so much. You're the best. Okay, guys, thank you so much for supporting me. It really means a lot, and I hope you're all doing well, all right? Go test for HIV if you're worried. Go do it, okay? Bye, guys.